In 1972, the Motion Picture and General Investment Studios, Cathay Organization's film production subsidiary in Hong Kong, closes down, leaving Showbiz Limited as the largest film company in Hong Kong. Film production in Hong Kong soon grows stale. The public tires of the same genres and stories and turns to television, prompting Show's monopoly to turn precarious. By 1979, the Hong Kong film industry has run out of steam. 1997 looms ever closer, however, and with it the transfer of Hong Kong from Great Britain to the People's Republic of China. In March 1979, Governor Mary MacLehose meets with Deng Xiaoping in Beijing and raises the question of Britain's 99-year lease on the new territories, thus beginning a series of negotiations which would return Hong Kong to China. This marks the beginning of the most important period in Hong Kong film history, the Hong Kong New Wave.
Britain learned long ago that Hong Kong people know best what is good for Hong Kong.
It is in the final years of the 70s that are made the first films of the New Wave's most important directors. Yim Ho, Alex Chung, Alan Fong, Han Hui, and Tsui Hark. Each of them, with a fresh approach they have inherited from years of studies abroad, would bring about important change to Hong Kong cinema through a series of independent films of which Ho's The Secret and Hark's The Butterfly Murders are the most emblematic. Aside from their themes, which are either anchored in reality or constitute a playful and often subversive twist on traditional Chinese genres, the films have in common a technical and aesthetic know-how and discipline which was before lacking from the local production.
No!
But most importantly, it is the film's rage and their stark outlook on Hong Kong society which allows them to grab people's interest. In 1980, Hark directs Don't Play With Fire. The story of three youngsters who kill time by planting bombs in cinemas, it is to be Hark's last New Wave film. Hark has to reshoot a third of it as the film is judged too subversive for release, only for it to be pulled from cinemas after a day of exploitation. Enraged with the system, Hark joined Cinema City, a company whose cheap but extremely popular films had been a doorway into the mainstream for New Wave directors since the last days of 1979. On the 29th of October 1979, Chinese Premier Hua Guofeng visits and meets with British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher. Behind their concerns to maintain prosperity in Hong Kong, it becomes evident that Hong Kong's handover is inevitable. Without its unofficial leader, the New Wave nevertheless steadily produces subversive and violent films, such as Alex Chung's Man on the Brink in 1981 and An Hoi's Boat People in 1982. 1982, however, Deng Xiaoping reveals his wish to enter official contact with the leaders of Britain. It is the beginning of the end. The New Wave's production slows down radically, with only mavericks like Alan Fong and Yim Ho still refusing to take a job at Shaw Bros.'s Golden Harvest or Cinema City. On the 19th of October 1984, the Sino-British Joint Declaration is signed by British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and Chinese Premier Zhao Ziyang, thus officializing the handover in 1997. By that time, all the directors of the New Wave have been absorbed into large mainstream companies, perhaps because there is no longer anything left to fight against. Yet, the same year, Hark's opening of his own company, Film Workshop, creates an opportunity for enraged and creative Hong Kong directors to express themselves to their fullest. Along with Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung's successes at the box office at the beginning of the 80s, these steps would eventually pave the way for the revival of Hong Kong cinema, as the future would go on to prove, with the massacre of rioting students by the Chinese military on Tiananmen Square in 1989, the directors of the New Wave still had a lot to fight against, and even more hell to raise.
I think Britain has done a good job for Hong Kong and a good job for the world.
1997年7月1日这一天，将作为这个人们永
As
远
is
纪
true
念
of
的
any departure,
经
a
历
point
了
to
百
which
年
I
沧
shall
桑的香
return.
港，回归
History
香港人
is not just a matter of
成为
dates.
祖国
What makes history
的真正的
is what comes before and what comes after the dates that we all remember. The story of this great city is about the years before this last
48 hours under outrage on buses that are still blocking intersections. Just within the last hour, I've seen people hang up posters saying, "Hang Lee Hung Premier," saying, "Heroes, their martyrs will never die," saying, "Smash the fascists."
Todd, a quick question. There are reports that the order for the military action was given by Deng Xiaoping from his hospital bed where he was undergoing a cancer operation. What do you know about that?
Well, we've been told by some Chinese sources that this may not be true at all, that Deng Xiaoping is seriously ill and could be very near death, and that the actual orders may have come from Yang Shang-kun, he's the general who called on the troops to come in, and he may be the man who ordered them to fire on the people and not Mr. Deng.
All right, thank you very much, Todd Carroll. As Todd noted, the new work week has already begun in Beijing, but very few people are going to